हिम्मत बोकेर प्रयास गर साथी खुबी देखाउन जोश लिएर हिम्मत बोकेर प्रयास गर साथी खुबी देखाउन विश्वासले जित हाम्रो नै हो साथी हुर्रे 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 विश्वासले जित हाम्रो नै हो साथी लक्ष्यलाई भेट्ने जिम्मा छ काँधमाथि हावासरी छेक पहाड पनि कदम बढाउ साथी मैदान तताउ तिमी खुदा हावासरी छेक पहाड पनि कदम बढाऊ साथी मैदान बताऊ तिमी कम्मर कसी देऊ जित हाम्रो नै हो साथी हिप हिप हुर्रे हुर्रे हिप हिप हुर्रे कम्मर कसी देऊ जित हाम्रो नै हो साथी लक्ष्यलाई भेट्ने जिम्मा छ काँधमाथि हिप हिप हुर्रे हुर्रे हिप हिप हुर्रे 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 साथी लक्ष्यलाई भेट्ने जिम्मा छ काँधमाथि हिप हिप हुर्रे हुर्रे हिप हिप हुर्रे हिप हिप हुर्रे हुर्रे हिप हिप हुर्रे जोश लिएर हिम्मत बोकेर प्रयास गर साथी खुबी देखाउँदा जोश लिएर हिम्मत बोकेर प्रयास गर साथी खुबी देखाउँदा विश्वासले जित हाम्रो नै हो साथी हिप हिप हुर्रे हुर्रे काँधमाथि हुर्रे हुर्रे हिप हिप हुर्रे 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 हिप हिप हुर्रे हावा सरी छेक पहाड पनि कदम बढाउ साथी मैदान तताउदिनी कुदा हावा सरी छेक पहाड पनि कदम बढाउ साथी मैदान तताउदिनी कम्मर कसी देऊ जित हाम्रो नै हो साथी हिप हिप हुर्रे हुर्रे हिप हिप हुर्रे कम्मर कसी देऊ जित हाम्रो नै हो साथी लक्ष्यलाई भेट्ने जिम्मा छ काँधमाथि हुर्रे हुर्रे हिप हिप हुर्रे 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 साथी लक्ष्यलाई भेट्ने जिम्मा छ काँधमाथि हुर्रे हुर्रे हिप हिप हुर्रे हिम्मत बोकेर प्रयास गर साथी खुबी देखाउन जोश लिएर हिम्मत बोकेर प्रयास गर साथी खुबी देखाउन विश्वासले जित हाम्रो नै हो साथी हुर्रे हुर्रे विश्वासले जित हाम्रो नै हो साथी लक्ष्यलाई भेट्ने जिम्मा छ माथि हुर्रे 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 हावा सरी छेक पहाड पनि कदम बढाउ साथी मैदान तताउ तिमी खुदा हावा सरी छेक पहाड पनि कदम बढाउ साथी मैदान तताउ तिमी कम्मर कसी देऊ जित हाम्रो नै हो साथी हिप हिप हुर्रे हुर्रे हिप हिप हुर्रे कम्मर कसी देऊ जित हाम्रो नै हो साथी लक्ष्यलाई भेट्ने जिम्मा छ काँधमाथि हुर्रे हुर्रे हिप हिप हुर्रे 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 साथी लक्ष्यलाई भेट्ने जिम्मा छ काँधमाथि हुर्रे हुर्रे हिप हिप हुर्रे 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 हिप हिप हुर्रे जोश लिएर हिम्मत बोकेर प्रयास गर साथी खुबी देखाउन जोश लिएर हिम्मत बोकेर प्रयास गर साथी खुबी देखाउन विश्वासले जित हाम्रो नै हो साथी हुर्रे हुर्रे हिप हिप हुर्रे विश्वासले जित हाम्रो नै हो साथी लक्ष्यलाई भेट्ने जिम्मा छ काँधमाथि हुर्रे हुर्रे हिप हिप हुर्रे 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 हिप हिप हुर्रे हावा सरी छेक पहाड पनि कदम बढाउ साथी मैदान तताउ तिमी खुदा हावा सरी छेक पहाड पनि कदम बढाउ साथी मैदान तताउ तिमी कम्मर कसी देऊ जित हाम्रो नै हो साथी हिप हिप हुर्रे हुर्रे हिप हिप हुर्रे कम्मर कसी देऊ जित हाम्रो नै हो साथी लक्ष्यलाई भेट्ने जिम्मा छ काँधमाथि हुर्रे हुर्रे हिप हिप हुर्रे 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 हिप हिप हुर्रे 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 हिप हिप हुर्रे 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 हिप हिप हुर्रे
जानकारी यसर्थ जिम्बाब्वेले पहिला ब्याटिङ गर्नेछ पछिल्लो खेल नेपालले गुमाउन पुगेको थियो भने आजको यो खेलमा नेपालले जित निकाल्ने मनसायका साथ खेल्नेछ किनकि नेपालले पछिल्लो खेल सिङ्गापुर विरुद्ध जित निकालेको थियो उक्त मोमेन्टम नेपालको साथमा छ र यसर्थ पनि नेपालले उक्त मोमेन्टमलाई कायम राख्दै आजको यो खेलमा पनि जित निकाल्नेछ यसमा हामी निश्चित छौं र टसको पारस खड्काले रेकर्ड कायम गरेका छन् भने यस्तै रन चेज गर्ने क्रममा सेन्चुरी प्रहार गर्ने पहिलो खेलाडीको रूपमा पनि पारस खड्काले विश्व रेकर्ड कायम गरेका छन् उक्त रेकर्ड आज पनि हामी हेर्न चाहन्छौं त्यस्तै रेकर्ड अन्य खेलाडीबाट पनि हामी हेर्न चाहन्छौं टसको नतिजा नेपालले पहिला टस जितेको छ अग्रवालले नेपालले टस जितेको छ भने पहिला फिल्डिङ रोजेको छ यसर्थ ब्याटिङमा उत्रिन्छ जिम्बाब्वे प्लेइङ 11 को बारेमा म तपाईलाई केही समयमा जानकारी गराउनेछु खेल सुरु हुन अब मात्र 4 मिनेटको समय बाँकी रहेको छ
or Tri-Nation T20 International Series.
11 को जानकारी भने अझसम्म आइज नसकेको अवस्थामा
Exciting one. Let's go and find out what happened at the toss.
केही समयपछि म यसको जानकारी अवश्य नै दिनेछु
The sun just setting, perfect conditions for an excellent game of T20 cricket.
जितेको छ नेपालले यस्तै फिल्डिङ रोजेको छ पहिला
I brought to you by Instagram.
नेपालले पहिला फिल्डिङ गर्नेछ फिल्डरहरू देख्न सक्छौं हामी नेपाल
I have the two captains
पारस खड्काले फिल्ड सजाउँदै गरेको अवस्था
from Nepal.
हामीले प्रत्यक्ष देख्न सक्छौं यहाँ देश 24 जिम्बाब्वेका कप्तान देख्न सक्नुहुनेछ यस्तै कप्तान पारस खड्का
After the first game, the
रेकर्ड ब्रेकर कप्तान पारस खड्का
so today it's a fresh wicket, so hopefully if our bowlers can put up a good show and restrict them to as low as possible, we back ourselves to chase the score.
You had a near perfect game against Singapore. You'd love to repeat that?
I mean, any given day, but having said that, it's
a Zimbabwe captain in just a short while, but
all over again. I think the game's gone already. It's new.
Action just about to get underway here as Nepal are going to be bowling against Zimbabwe. Remember, Zimbabweans won first match.
नेपाली क्रिकेट सम्बन्धी सम्पूर्ण जानकारी दिने पहिलो च्यानल हो अपडेट्स 24 च्यानललाई सब्स्क्राइब गर्नुहोस् र नेपालको यो खेलको मज्जा नेपाली कमेन्ट्रीमा अवश्य नै म तपाईहरुलाई दिने नै छु त्यसको लागि च्यानलसँग जोडिरहनु होला ट्राई-नेसन सिरिज अन्तर्गतको यो प्रतियोगिता नेपाल यति बेला र खेल यहाँ सुरु भइसकेको अवस्था छ सन्दीप लामिछानेलाई बल दिएका छन् कप्तानले यसर्थ नेपालको तर्फबाट इनिङको सुरुवात गर्नेछन् सन्दीप लामिछानेले नेपाली राष्ट्रिय
So here we go. Ball one. Ball changes. Ishan Pandey, the left-hand opener who struggled so far in the series, will be replaced by Pawan Saraf. So here we go. Ball one.
Remind you, of course, for those of you who have been following us over the last few days, welcome back. Good to have you rejoin us. And for those of you who've just come in today, a very warm welcome here to the Singapore Indian Association ground. And just come in today, a very warm welcome here to the Singapore Indian Association ground in Singapore. Sandeep Lamichhane getting us off. Tell us a little bit, Sandeep Lamichhane. Tell us a little bit about these two batsmen.
Brian Cherry explosive. For those of you, it looked to me like against now was way outside the off stump. The umpire doesn't think so. 18 big appeal that won't be given out. And
oh, it is
Brian Cherry out here. It looked to me like. But that was a way early break outside the off stump for the umpire doesn't think so. Lamichhane against Zimbabwe. And he's given Brian Cherry out here. Cherry goes for disappointed as he Zimbabwe, but another early breakthrough for Sandeep Lamichhane against the Zimbabweans. Brian Cherry goes for naught. Zimbabwe 0 for 1. PJ Moore, new man. He replaces Brian Cherry, who was a judged LBW to Sandeep Lamichhane. The last delivery, it looked outside off stump to me. It looks like he got an inside edge as well.
Start for Lamichhane, regardless. Let's get your thoughts on that decision.
Yeah, it looked to me like it was definitely outside the off stump and like he got an inside edge. Certainly was disappointed, Brian Cherry.
Lamichhane is bowling a lot better in this series than he was a couple months ago. 1 for 1 after the first over. There's a batting lineup for Zimbabwe today. As mentioned already, 4 changes for the Zimbabwe team after that stunning loss against Singapore on Sunday, which has really caught the imagination around the cricket world. There's a batting lineup, massive achievement for Zimbabwe today. As a full member already, 4 changes at outdoor level for the Zimbabwe team after that stunning loss against Singapore on Sunday, which is really about later, but at the moment, around the cricket world, a bit of early trouble here. Massive achievement, of course. First time they've ever beaten at the other end, full member at outdoor level. Has been done at indoor level, which I'm sure we'll chat about later. But at the moment, Zimbabwe in a little bit of early trouble here. Sushan Bari. Well, there's a little message, isn't it? For a man who's not really played very much.
Oh, that's a great shot, isn't it? He's gone across the line, but he's got absolutely all of that delivery.
So clean.
PJ Moore, absolutely. Well, he's certainly letting the bowlers know his frame of mind early. 38-6 in the tournament.
You covered the first game as well, didn't you, Tino, between Zimbabwe and Nepal, and I think you were a little concerned with the way that Nepal approached that game.
Down the ground this time for one.
It's been a good over so far for Zimbabwe after that early wicket of Brian Chari. Nice little comeback here in the second over.
Just a single then to end the over. A good one for Zimbabwe, 15 from it, 16 for one. Then to end the over, a good one for Zimbabwe, 15 from it, 16 for one.
A mixed start for Zimbabwe. Two very different overs we've had so far, Tino. It's provided us entertainment all round.
Absolutely early breakthrough, which is what Paras Katka would have wanted.
A mixed start for Zimbabwe. Two very different overs we've had so far, Tino.
A really good innings.
It's provided us entertainment all round.
Over. Second one for Zimbabwe. Absolutely early breakthrough
runs
from it, which is what Paras Katka would have wanted. Down the leg side. That's unfortunate for the keeper. A really good, awkward bounce just in front of him. Sorry, really good leg by signal. Second one for Zimbabwe. 15 runs from it.
And it's a little bit surprised they've already made that change, that bowling change.
I wouldn't say surprised. I think Paras Katka wanted an early wicket. He got that. The ball well. Sandeep Lamichhane. Much turn from Lamichhane like we did early when he bowled in the last game. So after the spinners, probably thought striking the ball well and pull back the reins. See much turn from Lamichhane for later on early when he bowled in the last game. So it's probably maybe he might take him to the end where the reins was bowled. Hold him back for later on in the innings.
Cover comes out. He means
maybe
business.
He might take him
probably
to
seeing what his partner's doing at the other end. Chukova comes out. Doesn't get anything for business. Probably seeing what his partner's doing at the other end. Doesn't get anything for it. Little bit of improvisation. Doesn't work out for him.
Looks like KC Curran picked that up because he's just rolled the fingers over that. Slower ball. KC Curran picked that up. That's probably just rolled the fingers over that. Bounce over the slower ball. That's probably what got the ball to the regular delivery. Possibly wouldn't have bounced so high and regular delivery. That leg stump. Possibly wouldn't have bounced so high. Played the shot a couple of times the other night, register cover. Gone over that leg stump. When he gets it right, gets value for his shots.
It's been a couple of... It's been a couple of balls down leg side already. It's painful, isn't it, for any pace bowler out there? And you can see 5 wides. First time in this series, Zimbabwe are batting first. And so, what are they aiming for? Have you talked to the boys over the last few days? How's that set?
Well, obviously, disappointed bunch after the performance the other evening. If you look at the first game against Nepal as well, it took a massive partnership at the end between Burl and Mutumbami to get them across the line. So, Sean Williams has made his intentions pretty clear in the last couple of games that he was happy to chase. He wanted to bowl first in both of those first 2 encounters for Zimbabwe. They'll be looking to get a big score on the board. They would have seen the other night when Nepal chased 150 in just 16 overs against Singapore. Paras Katka, that wonderful 106 in just 52 balls. And they would have seen how they were going the other night until they threw it away. So they know they'll need a very decent total on the board. 121 the other night, but that was only in 18 overs. Pretty sure they've said to themselves, listen here guys, batting first new surface. Sure they've said to themselves, listen here guys, batting first new surf, 190 plus here.
By the way, just getting news that Binod Pandare, the Nepal keeper, has got a slight hamstring strain, so he's not moving particularly well. Let's keep an eye out for him in this final ball.
Nearly snuck in there. He's very lucky, Regis Chakaba, to get bat onto that and get it past the man at 45 for 4. So, ends off well the over. Another good one for Zimbabwe. 3 gone, 29 for 1.
Nepal captain Paras Katka obviously feeling this is the way to go right now. So it wasn't so good that last over, was it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Paras Kadka has decided to take the spinners off after that devastating second over at PJ Moore. Took to the spinners, 15 off it after just 1 run in the first over. Bowled by Sandeep Lamichhane.
Sompal coming up now. What did you make of the wicket today?
It definitely looks a lot drier than what we've had in the first game between these two teams. That's because obviously we've had 3 games in a row, and that was on the pitch next to that, number 2. This is number 1. And it just looks like a batting surface. Again, no grass.
Quick single. Nicely done. Yeah, Tino got a chance to go look at the pitch beforehand, like he always does before every match. Does a little inspection for us.
Yeah, very similar to what we had the other day. Those cracks show you just how dry the surface is and no grass. And it just looks to me like we're not going to get too much turn from this either. It looks a real good batting surface. But we know that teams like to bat second here and chase, like what's happened in the last couple of games.
An appeal in that last delivery, not given. Pulse bowl so far. Decent line and length. Nothing that's causing the batsman too much trouble, but right, you want to keep that run. Skybox. It's gone for the big swipe, and he pays the price there. Chakava heads back, and they've got the second wicket.
I don't know if he has to go across the line here. Mid-on and mid-off are both in the circle. All you need to do is get good bat on it, and it's going over those guys with a minimum of fuss. Yes, go over the top, but not across the line. That'll be disappointing for the Zimbabwean change room, the manner in which that Richard Chakapa has gone. 3.4 overs in Zimbabwe now, 30 for 2.
Zimbabwe captain Sean Williams is in. Welcome to the match. That last dismissal. The line from the cover.
He'll be disappointed. Looked good in the last game. Regis Chakabva, and the change from spin in the first couple of overs to spin in the next couple has worked for Paras Kadka. It's another wicket from Sompal. And a really good second over from him. 1 run from it, 1 wicket, that of Regis Chakabva. Zimbabwe now 30 for 2.
Been a mixed bag here at the Singapore Indian Association in these first 4 overs. Couple of 2 very good overs for each side. 30 for 2 we are. Here's Lamichane. Oh, he's made that appeal. It's a pretty strong one. Did that seem like a stronger appeal than the previous one?
That certainly looked more out to me than the one of Brian Chari, but it has turned into the batsman slightly. And the umpire possibly just thinking that that's going to be going past the leg stump. Big appeal. Looked very nervous, PJ Moore.
That makes it all the way. He's far more comfortable for them, isn't he?
If the ball is pitched up from the spinners, PJ Moore is going to go for it, whether there's a man back or not. He's got long arms, big levers, and he takes advantage of that. So 36 for 2 now, Zimbabwe, but he won't stop if that ball is pitched up.
He's gone for it again. Not quite got the connection. In fact, that last 6 he got was the least cleanly hit one of the 3 boundaries that he's scored so far. He's going for his shots.
He is indeed. Like I said, Zimbabwe would have seen that all 3 teams winning here. I have seen that in the second part of the game. It's very, very difficult to defend scores here. PJ Moore wasn't in the Zimbabwean side that toured Bangladesh prior to this. You know, he's got a point to prove.
Nice ball there from Lamichane and Sean Williams. First taste of that. I think this is going to turn into a rather interesting match.
Nicely played by Sean Williams. The key for me is the manner in which they play this man, Lamichane. Paras brought him on to open the bowling in the last game because he needed early wickets, got those early wickets and pegged Zimbabwe back 28 for 4 at one stage. After having a whirlwind start, I think 12 they got in the first over. Brian Chari was looking good. The manner in which Zimbabwe play this guy is what's going to be important. Singapore made sure he didn't get wickets. Bowled him.
Brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant. It's the googly. And he's brought him forward, PJ Moore. Gap between bat and pad. And that's all he needed, Sandeep Lamichane. We're talking about it's important about how Zimbabwe play him. This time he's gone for the forward defensive PJ Moore, and the ball sneaking through that gap. 5 overs gone, Zimbabwe 38 for 3.
Commentary with M and Navneet Krishna.
Thank you, Shazad. Great delivery from Sandeep Lamachane to get rid of the dangerous PJ Moore. It's been brilliant tonight. Got the opening wicket, has come back, got rid of the danger man. Zimbabwe 38 for 3 after 5. And good to have Nav in the studio as well, joining me. Good evening, Nav.
Very good evening, Adrian. You probably have to say that it's Nepal that have drawn first blood here in the first 5 overs, 38 for 3. Fantastic strike there from Sean Williams, and he's well on his way. A good-looking cover drive, final over before the power play comes to an end, and he's taking full advantage with an offer, and he was happy to find the gap on the offside through covers, races away.
Has a big job to do tonight, does Sean Williams. Has to lead from the front. Rebuild. Needs a partnership here, Zimbabwe. It's been a terrific start by Nepal, though. I mean, we saw how good they were with the ball last time these two sides played and how effective Sandeep Lamachane was. And he's proving once more how dangerous he is with the ball.
Yeah, it was possibly the best bowler we've seen in all of the Singapore Tri Nations from Sandeep Lamachane to get rid of Peter Moore there. Closer than I thought it was. want to be careful when you're playing Avinash Bora. Obviously, slingy action. He's a lot faster than you think he is. Very nippy off the pitch. And watch out for those toe crushers because he loves bowling those Yorkers.
There's been some assistance for the pace bowlers tonight. I mean, we haven't seen much of it this series. They're really getting some assistance off the pitch. Not as much as...
Two fantastic wickets. One you'd probably have to say could have gone either way, the first one. But the second one, an absolute peach to get rid of more.
What a great story Sandeep Lamachane is. Plays his cricket all over the world with the Melbourne Stars in Australia, the Delhi Capitals in the IPL. Now he's here representing his country, the Tri-Nations tournament here in Singapore.
Yeah, not to forget the Barbados Tridents very recently in the Caribbean Premier League. Very, very big figure in the Everest Premier League back in Nepal as well. So the man loves his T20 cricket. Plenty of action that we've seen in the little over 6 overs that we've seen today. Plenty of action on Twitter as well. Good to see engagement on the social media handles as well, as Sean Williams drives one comfortably down the ground. As always, happy to take questions from folks around the world tuning in. Happy to read out some of the best tweets as well. So you want to be doing hashtag Singapore Tri Nation and hashtag Nepal versus Zimbabwe, NEP versus VSZIM. Leave your tweets, questions, comments, and we'd love to read them out. It's been an entertaining evening so far here in Singapore. Very difficult to read this pitch like Paras mentioned at the toss.
It's a completely different pitch to what we saw the other night. Big scores. Then again, we've just come to the end of the power play. They need a partnership, build an innings. Sean Williams, the captain, brilliant last night. But was the case, he just ran out of partners.
Drifting down the left side there, picked away onto the deep square leg boundary easily by Mutambotsi, just a single though. 7 overs completed, 47 for 3. We've already seen a few tweets coming in about Avinash Bora. We know he's a talented bowler. Bikash Thapa says, Avinash has been doing great work at the death. Still feel he's not utilized well enough by the captain. I hope to see him completing his 4 overs. And we're getting a few comments, similar comments from quite a few folks. And probably rightly so, because Avinash has been economical in the little that we've seen so far of him. But he hasn't completed his quota. Interesting to see if Paras actually goes through with Avinash for the 4 overs today.
Yeah, it will be. But we've talked a lot about Sandeep Lamachane. But how about Sompal Kami? How good has he been tonight? Picking up that crucial wicket. Economical. Only conceded 6 runs from his 2 overs so far. He's getting that line and length on point tonight as well. Been brilliant.
Sompal Kami has got to do that all over again. It is a little bit humid, certainly is a little humid today, but good conditions for a game of cricket.
I was just outside a little while earlier. Quite pleasant. ambitious.
It almost felt like that was the action replay of the Regis Chakabwa delivery. You don't
in trouble. They don't want to make things worse.
very disciplined effort by the Nepali bowlers today. Sean for a second probably thought that was rolling onto his stumps. But you're coming back to the Nepali bowlers. Sompal Kami, Sandeep Lamichane, Avinash Bora. They've all been very disciplined, not giving too many extras away. The fielding's been on par as well. All in all, a very good team effort by the Nepali players today.
And the captain has a result.
After the loss of the early wickets for Zimbabwe, Captain Sean Williams will have to lead the rebuilding phase here. And it hasn't been easy. Runs have been hard to come by. We're into the 8th over. Touch under 50 the score at the moment, 49 for 3. So obviously a little from how the other games have gone about. We've been seeing runs. In fact, the last game we saw over 10 runs being scored for 36 overs.
Also the first time Zimbabwe are batting first in this tournament. Big appeal. As we take another look at this delivery by Sompal Kami. Economical.
Looks like we have some time for some fairly quiet today, unlike 2 nights ago when it was raining sixes and boundaries all along. Very nicely clipped off his patch, just the single though.
Eight overs done. Zimbabwe 50 for 3.
Well, Dipendra Thapa says, recognizing the batting performance of Nepal in the last match, especially from Captain Paras, Nepal needs a round of about 180 for a competitive match today. I'm not too sure what he means by that. Is he trying to say that Zimbabwe will have to score that much? A big heave. Deep square leg, just a single though. Karan Casey. Oh, he had bowled 1 over. This is into his 2nd over, in fact.
Things have just slowed down quite a bit since that wicket of PJ Moore. The way he was batting out there, those huge sixes, a lot harder now for these two out in the middle. Rather cautious approach. Nepalese bowlers finding their lines.
Good looking cover drive that from the captain Sean Williams, aesthetically very pleasing to the eye. There's always something about left-handed batsmen, Adrian. We all know that. And Sean is one on that list, right?
Yes, he's a great batsman to watch. I mean, some of the ones that come straight into mind from watching loads of cricket. Shikhar Dhawan, brilliant, explosive batsman. Rishabh Pant, for example. There is David Warner. Just something about a left-hander in a cover drive. He nudges that for a single. Mutumbodzi back on strike. He's finding it hard here, Mutumbodzi, today. 4 off 8. Quite frustrated with himself. Seen a few attempts at big heaves. He's got nothing to show for it so far. Nice looking shot. We'll go for 4. Mutumbodzi here. Just a flick. 4 more to the total. Keeps the scoreboard ticking. Zimbabwe needed that. Singles just weren't cutting it for them. Nepal have been economical. But this might just be the opening.
Shot and pulls it away. Much needed boundary for Zimbabwe. Fantastic pull shot from Tino Mutumbodzi. It was short, it was quick, and Mutumbodzi was up to the mark. Good looking pull shot, 1 bounce to the right of the deep square leg fielder, and he gets himself 4 runs.
Back-to-back boundaries from Mutumbodzi. They'd say this could be their opening. And just runs are coming along quite nicely here. The right-hander wants to finish well here.
Decent finish for Karan Casey, and we come to the end of 9 overs with Zimbabwe 62 for 3.
Back live now, so we see another bowling change. Pawan Saraf going to bowl a little bit of spin.
His first game in the Singapore Tri-Nations T20I is playing in place of Ishan Pandey, the left-handed opening batsman. It's going to be interesting to see how he goes about his business, Pawan Saraf. The tactic probably is to spin it away from the left-handed Sean Williams, entice him to play against the spin.
Brilliant cover drive there by Sean Williams. Where we're talking. There's something about a left-hander and a cover drive. It's just never gets old. So aesthetically pleasing to watch Sean bat. He can do what he did the other night and just stick around for a bit longer. Never know. Singapore could end up with a big total tonight. I mean, Zimbabwe.
Down the track comes Sean Williams. And he's happy with that one. Is that the first 6? Yes, the first 6 for Sean Williams. We saw a couple of mighty ones from Peter Moore earlier on. Dancing down the track. And a nice little heave over long gone. 6 handsome runs.
Great strike from the captain. Starting to get a move along here is Sean Williams. Goes to 20 off 19. Well supported by Mutumbodzi at the other end.
Tino was mentioning this in the previous game. You don't often see Sean stay out of form for a long time. He didn't have the best outing in Bangladesh. He missed out on his first opportunity here in Singapore as well. And he came back in typical Sean Williams fashion in the last game.
And it was that man again, Sandeep Lamachane, who got him in that first game. For duck. Nothing shot really by the captain, but now he's taken a lot more responsibility now. Building an innings, trying to be more cautious. Goes again.
Just the single though on this occasion. Didn't quite make the contact that he did on that occasion when he hit that six. Just the single. Glad that it didn't go down the throat of Long On.
Looked like it was going straight down the ground for another six just for a moment. It's good to see conditions being rather nice and pleasant today, unlike the other day when we had to wait a little bit. Great conditions for cricket once again. A Tuesday evening here in Singapore at the Indian Association ground. Fans have turned out.
Very interesting to see what Zimbabwe end up with. We saw 180 being scored in the previous game, and that almost wasn't enough. Seems to be a different story today. Probably around the 150 mark, yeah?
And that was 180 in just 18 overs, so a lot more to come here, particularly from these two out in the middle. End of the 10th over, Zimbabwe 72 for 3.
Right, back live with live pictures. You're watching game number 4 of the Singapore Tri-Nations T20I, brought to you by Instarem. You can catch live action on multiple platforms. VCsports.com. You also have the option of Willow HD TV, the Singapore Cricket Association handle on Facebook, and the fan code app as well by Dream 11. For the very first time, a change in the commentary box. I'm going to have Chamal De Silva from Sri Lanka. Pleasure having you here, Chamal.
Thank you. Away back with the square, just for a single.
It's the sun.
Yes, he really set up PJ Moore there. He's bowling, I feel, at the correct trajectory and correct pace, maybe in the mid-90s. And we're using the Kookaburra regulation here. That's going to give a bit of purchase. Magnificent shot. Reverse swept it. Sean Williams has come out. He's showing that mindset and attitude. He's batting with a man like looks like he's got a point to prove.
Well, fantastic. That you obviously you don't want to be too adventurous against Sandeep Lamichhane, but Sean Williams' belief and confidence that he has in his own skill, he's happy playing the reverse sweep to someone like a Lamichhane. And this time, just tucks it away on the leg side to mid-wicket for a single though. This is a good solid innings by Sean Williams. They needed that in the context of the situation. Very, very important 26 this from the captain.
Sean Williams is a class player, very experienced cricketer, and he's playing this game wonderfully. He's assessing the situation, and he knows
they still have a little over 9 overs left. They can go and shift gears a little later on, but it's important to have wickets in hand at the moment.
absolutely the way to go about it on this wicket and in this ground is to have wickets in hand and then load it up in the back six.
And more importantly, don't give wickets to Sandeep.
Yes, and at the same time, you need to take him on as well. And that's what Sean Williams is doing here. He's giving a very good account.
Drifting on the leg side, and Sean Williams says thank you. We saw plenty of sixes hit down the ground. For the first time, behind the wicket, it goes over short fine leg for six, number 2 for Sean Williams. And he's finally getting a move on. And Zimbabwe are slowly climbing up their run rate.
That was a very interesting delivery. Lamishane was bowling the googly, but he pitched it well outside leg stump. Was trying to catch Sean Williams with the top edge. But class batsman Sean Williams controlled the shot beautifully for 6.
A comeback that only Sandeep can pull off. Good comeback to the end the over. An expensive one for Sandeep Lamichhane. 13 off the over, 11 overs completed, 85 for 3. Right back for the 12th over here, 85 for 3. And Chamal, you've obviously been spending a lot of time with the Singapore team, very closely associated to the association here. Talk to us a little bit about this tournament and what it means to Singapore cricket in itself.
I think, first of all, it's been a wonderful opportunity for our cricketers to step up and play to heavyweights, best playing nation, Zimbabwe. It was an honor to take the park with them.
And defeating them was an even bigger achievement.
Karan Casey here, continuing proceedings from the Balestier Road end. It's a good delivery. Yes, look, the results take care of themselves. We are very happy with the processors. Singapore Cricket Association, President Mahmood Ghaznavi and his ex-co, our Director of Coaching, Saad Khan Janjua, who's also our CEO, to organize such a tournament, to bring these teams down, and that gives us the opportunity to win matches.
That was one of the objectives of having this tournament, is also because Singapore are very soon going to be taking the flight for the T20 qualifiers, and this is the perfect opportunity to try out all the combinations with the ball, with the bat.
Spot on enough. I think the whole idea, we are very clear what we want to extract out of this experience. The results, whether we win, lose, we don't get too excited about it, but we are in preparation mode for the global qualifiers. And if you want to perform like Lions, you have to train against Lions. So Zimbabwe are a world-class side, so is Nepal. It's always an honor to play with them.
Very disciplined effort from Karan Casey thus far in this over. Good line, good length. And coming back to what you were saying, Chamal, the other good thing about this tournament is it's a contest between 3 very evenly balanced squads. Difficult to pick a winner. And we saw that in round 1. 3 matches, all 3 teams ending up with 1 win each.
Absolutely. And the contest is very evenly fought. Everybody's in there. They're backing themselves. And I'm very proud of the way the Singapore unit has come out and fought. And I think Singapore cricket's on its way up.
A cover drive on the up there from Mutumbotsi. Didn't get enough on it to go past the boundary line. The fielder does well at long off to cut it off in 2 runs to Mutumbotsi. He continues to strike at run a ball. And the Sean Williams, captain, is slowly motoring along.
Yes, if these two manage to stay somewhere till the 17th, 18th over, Zimbabwe will put on nearly 190 runs. 2 quality players.
190, Jamal. That's 100 runs in the next 8 overs.
Yes, it's very
possible. You think it's possible, yeah?
Short, straight boundaries, 2 quality players, and a belt of a track.
We saw plenty of assistance for the spinners on day 1 on this track, but otherwise, it's pretty much been flat enough for the batsmen to express themselves.
Yes, now today we are playing on wicket number 1 here at the Singapore Indian Association ground. The first 2 games are played on the center wicket or wicket number 2. Surprisingly, wicket number 1 usually
over the man at long on for 6. Now that went very high and not as long as he would have liked. The man at long on interested for a very, very long time and just getting over the boundary for 6.
The bat, Ryan Burl. Effective with the ball as well. It's all about this partnership tonight, isn't it?
Low full toss. It's gone in the air. Won't carry to the man running round from deep square leg. I'll get just the single. Richmond Mtumbami will be disappointed because he didn't get all of that. Nicely done by Ryan Burl. Into the 16th, 130 for 5.
We look at the scorecard here. Zimbabwe batting card. Sean Williams leading from the front, 53. No one else there supporting him.
Be interesting little battle this. Richmond Mutumbami and Sandeep Lamichhane. Likes to take the spinners on towards the end of the innings. Plays the slog sweep well down the ground. We saw that the other evening. This time looking to play the reverse sweep. Not a shot I've seen him play a lot of. Happier seeing him go straighter.
Almost took his head off there with that throw. Had to duck for cover. How good has Sandeep Lamichhane been tonight, though? Just as he was in the first game, picking up crucial wickets. Zimbabwe has a job tonight to do.
There's that slog sweep. It's a thicker part of the bottom edge. Just the one. 132 for 5. Zimbabwe halfway through the 17th over. They'll really want to make sure they get past the 160 mark, get closer to 170 if they can. They're going to have to bat extremely well from here.
Just a single. We saw the other night when Singapore played Nepal that 150 wasn't enough. 180 on the other night was, in 18 overs, was also just enough. But on this track here at the Indian Association ground, I guess you never know.
Zimbabwe will definitely need to get early wickets. Nepal needed that against them the other day after they had a very quick start in the first couple of overs. Sandeep Lamichhane then came on, and as you said, crucial wickets early. Opens the face and just runs that down to third man. Despite the kick off the big boot, I'll just get one.
He's taking his time, Ryan Burl. How destructive he can be towards the back end of the innings. He's trying to see off Sandeep Lamichhane.
Good cricket. Very good cricket. It's a good over from Sandeep Lamichhane. Just 5 from it. 17 gone. 135 for 5.
Avinash Bora comes back into the attack. Good so far, economical. We saw some very good cricket in the last over. Ryan Bell just seeing off the dangerous Sandeep Lamichhane. Nice to see a good crowd come out here tonight on a Tuesday night at the Indian Association ground. Humid conditions out there. Pleasant.
I was out there a bit earlier when I got a break from the commentary box. Very pleasant. Nice fresh breeze this evening. And haze that we normally have above us here. Probably just clearing up a little bit because of the rain we've had over the last few days. Pushing the clouds away and nice fresh breeze. Good crowd that's come in this evening. The last couple of matches we saw in the first round, obviously a heavy crowd. The home team Singapore playing and registering that wonderful victory against Zimbabwe 2 evenings ago. But it looks as though the words got out and about here in Singapore. And the folks and fans coming out in their numbers here to the Indian Association ground.
Free entry for all. So if you're in Singapore, have nothing else to do on this Tuesday night, come down, watch a bit of cricket.
Good Yorker. I'm talking about Zimbabwe wanting to get to that 160 mark, past it if possible. He continues to bowl like this. Avinash Bahara will make it very difficult for Zimbabwe. We saw him earlier on in the tournament and how good he is. Those balls full and straight in the Yorker area. Doesn't miss much. Again, right in that Yorker area. Richmond Tumbami only manages to squeeze it out for one.
Very interesting action does Avinash Bahara. And it's done him good. He's been effective with the ball. Getting his line and length right. As he comes up against Ryan Bull now.
We struck that straight back at Richmond Tumbami. No time to get out the way. It's lucky for Nepal as it hasn't ricocheted off into the gap towards the boundary. Firmly struck. No time at all. It's gone like a bullet.
It's got to hurt. Definitely feel that in the morning.
I think he's felt that now. Don't worry about tomorrow morning. Nicely played. Squeezed out to that vacant backward point area on the boundary. They'll come back for 2, Zimbabwe. 5 runs off the over so far. Couple of overs, couple of balls to go in the 18th. 140 for 5. Zimbabwe. They'll hope that these two can bat the majority of these remaining overs. Get a few boundaries and get Zimbabwe close to that 160, 170 mark. Again, beautifully bowled.
Really those Yorkers is Avinash Bahara. You mentioned they will be looking to get as close to the 160, 170 mark. I think 160 is par on this ground tonight. Wanting to get towards as close to 170 as possible. Bit of a fighting total. Again, brilliantly bowled. Excellent stop from Avinash Bahara. AC Nova's done. 142 for 5 Zimbabwe.
Two overs to go, 142 for 5 Zimbabwe. Captain Sean Williams with a good hand again, 53. PJ Moore looked destructive with his 21 from 12. Tinom Tombodzi looked good until he was adjudged LBW of Sompal Kami for 20. Then Ryan Bull, Richmond Mutumbami will be hoping that they can step up the scoring rate for Zimbabwe. try and get them a total they'll feel they can bowl at. Aaron Casey, wonderfully bowled, slow ball bouncer. Ryan Burl threw the shot before the ball was there. Important skills to have these, especially in these last few overs in T20 cricket.
You know how effective they can be, particularly in the shortest format of the game. As you mentioned, slow ball, Yorkers. We saw that in the last over by Avinash Bora. Brilliant, brilliant Yorkers.
That's well struck. There's two men back on that leg side boundary. But Ryan Burl has hit it in between the two of them. So an important boundary for Zimbabwe early in the 18th over. Takes the score to 146 for 5, and they'll be hoping that they can get a couple more in this over. Propel that scoring rate a little bit more in these last few deliveries.
Right in the slot there. Ryan Burl would have been licking his lips watching that. He gets off the mark with a single.
Richmond Mtumbami explosive the other evening against Nepal. Close up the innings, win the game for Zimbabwe with a good partnership with Ryan Burl. He got 40 in rapid time. Today hasn't been able to get the ball away quite as easily. Nepal bowlers have bowled good areas to him. Set their fields right. Short. He's gone on the pull, top edge. He's got to fall safely. That square leg region. Good pace and bounce from Karan Casey, getting on to Richmond Mtumbami. A lot quicker than he thought. Ryan Bull just going to have a bat change. Possibly just getting out a lighter bat so he can get the bat speed going as they conclude this first innings.
Can't get it away. Will just be the single. Tough going for the batsmen out there tonight. We've seen the Nepalese bowlers really execute their plans well. Lone hand from Sean Williams. But there's a lot, not just for the spinners, but I feel the pacers as well. Good movement. If you get your length and line right, will reap rewards on this track.
It's well struck. There's a man back on the boundary. So will just be the single. A good over for Zimbabwe. 8 from it, 150 for 5.
Zimbabwe 150 for 5. 19 overs done. We're looking to get big last over in here. Guides that to third man. Avinash Bora been brilliant tonight. 3 overs, just 16 runs conceded. 17 now.
Very impressive once again with the ball. Avinash Bora. Talking about Zimbabwe wanting to get past that 160 mark. He continues to bowl like he's done in the previous over in that Yorker length. It'll be very difficult for Zimbabwe to get there. Low full toss. Ryan Burl will be disappointed. He would have wanted to put that away. Leading edge. Just a single over the bowler's head. So just 4 balls to go in the innings, Zimbabwe. 152 for 5. And another decent partnership between these two. It's well struck. Very well struck. What he's done, Richmond Tumbami, is he's realized that he's bowling those Yorker areas well. He's just come down the wicket a little bit. Made sure he's converted those Yorkers into a low full toss. Good cricket. Nice and aware of what the bowler is trying to do and counteracting that. So an important boundary for Zimbabwe. Another full toss, but not able to get it over the boundary for 6. It's a good running catch from Sompal Kami. He'll be disappointed, Richmond Mutumbami. An opportunity to get that up and over the boundary. Just onto him a bit quicker than he thought, but that's a good catch to get rid of Richmond Mutumbami. It was starting to look dangerous. He goes for 17. Zimbabwe now 156 for 6.
Zimbabwe 156 for 6. 2 balls to go.
Look for 2 here, Ryan Burl. He'll get back comfortably. Tony Munyonga, new man at the crease. Just his 4th T20 international match for Zimbabwe.
Needs to go big here, Ryan Burl. Nepal have been excellent in the field. Great running catch by Sompal Sami just in front of us. Avinash Bora finally get
You're watching match number 4 of the Singapore Tri-Nations T20I, brought to you by Instagram. We saw 160 being put by the Zimbabwean batsmen earlier on. They were put into bat by Paras Katka this evening. And at the halfway mark, Paras Katka, the captain of Nepal, will probably take this. A pretty good effort by their bowlers. They're going to be chasing 8 to the over. And to join me in the commentary box for the next 5 overs is going to be Shez. Shez, good to have you.
Nav, good to be with you and all our viewers around the world. A very warm welcome to this Singapore Tri-Nations T20 International Series 2019, powered by Instagram. And 160 the score set by Zimbabwe. What did you think of that overall? Because I thought Nepal were fantastic in the field.
They certainly are a remarkable team when it comes to their fielding. And I just think probably 10 or 20 shot, and that wicket of Sean Williams happened at exactly the right time for Nepal and exactly the wrong time for Zimbabwe.
That's a very good point, because he strangled him in a way, didn't they, after that? And, well, he's taking it upon himself as well, Sean Williams. The captain has to lead from the front today.
Well, he's done that pretty well in this tournament so far. And to open the batting for Nepal, it looks like it is the Centurion, the captain. So it is Paras Katka on strike, and it is Pawan Saraf at the non-strikers end, captain to captain. Mind you, it was Paras Katka that got Sean out, rattled the stumps.
He returned the favor today. Just want to talk about the psychology here now on Zimbabwe as Williams arranges his field accordingly. They're under the pressure. Let's not joke, but let's not, kind of sweep this under the carpet. And having lost to Singapore, they've probably scored under par here. Nepal want to avenge last week's loss. This is serious pressure for Zimbabwe.
Absolutely. And they have to start well. And mind you, a wicket of someone like Paras Katka might just shift that pressure back to Nepal. They love getting onto the field. They love bowling. They love their fielding. You would probably consider themselves more of a fielding. That as their biggest strength. So should Zimbabwe be able to get
ओपनिङमा आएका थिए कप्तान पारस खड्का र पवन सराफ पनि यति बेला पवन सराफ छन् स्ट्राइकमा ओभरको अन्तिम बलको सामना गर्दै र सर्ट खेलिदिएका छन् सिधा फिल्डरको हातमा र नेपाललाई पहिलो झड्का लागेको छ यहाँ पवन सराफ कुनै पनि खाता नखली आउट हुन पुगेका छन् र नेपाललाई निकै नै ठूलो झड्का पहिलो ओभरमा नै नेपालले विकेट गुमाएको छ सर्ट खेल्ने प्रयास थियो लगातार 2 बल डट खेलिरहेको अवस्थामा दबाव बनेको थियो पवनमा र यहाँ गलत सर्टको सेलेक्सन सँगै नेपाललाई पहिलो झड्का जिम्बाब्वेलाई पहिलो सफलता मिलेको छ र निकै नै दुःखद सुरुवात गरेको छ नेपालले खराब सर्टको सिलेक्सन त्यहाँ पवन सराफबाट पवन सराफको विकेटले नेपाललाई निकै नै दुःखद तुल्याएको छ रोकेर खेल्नु पर्यो हुन्थ्यो तर 2 बल डट सामना गरेसँगै तेस्रो बलमा आफ्नो विकेट गुमाएका छन् र दिपेन्द्र सिंह ऐरी यति बेला पारस खड्कालाई साथ दिन आएका छन् कप्तान र उपकप्तान छन् क्रिजमा
and they had a very good evening, scoring well over 36 overs.
आफ्नो व्यक्तिगत कारण देखाउँदै
today for the first time.
प्रतियोगिताबाट नाम हटाएका थिए त्यसर्थ उनको स्थानमा दिपेन्द्र सिंह ऐरी उपकप्तानको रूपमा रहेका छन् नेपाली राष्ट्रिय टोलीको र पहिलो ओभरको खेल सकिएको छ नेपालले 1 रन मात्र जोडेको छ 1 विकेट गुमाएको छ पवन सराफको रूपमा दिपेन्द्र सिंह ऐरी आएका छन् उनको स्थानमा उनको विकेट सँगै पारस खड्का नन स्ट्राइकिङ इनमा रहेका छन् देउला स्ट्राइकमा छन् दिपेन्द्र सिंह ऐरी पहिलो बलको सामना गर्दै
quick upright action to generate a lot more
बल भएको छ
other bowlers, but very nicely played from Dipendra Singh Airi there.
पहिलो बल डट भएको छ दिपेन्द्र सिंह ऐरी विरुद्धको चतारा बलिङमा छन् जिम्बाब्वेको तर्फबाट
think there's something in the pitch for everyone. This particular wicket. Oh dear.
पवन सराफ
Oh dear.
लाई मौका दिएको थियो आजको खेलमा बलिङ पनि त्यति
There he
राम्रो
goes.
भएन
Just the 4 runs. He's just
ब्याटिङ
got
त
the 4 and he's thrown it away.
उनको निकै नै खराब रह्यो किनकि कुनै पनि रन जोड्न सकेनन् र आउट
Exactly what I was talking about.
दिवेन्द्र सिंह ऐरी दोस्रो बलको सामना गरेका थिए र उक्त बल पनि डट हुन गएको छ 161 रनको लक्ष्य पाए
All the pain the Singhali had to do was give his captain company.
सम्हालेर खेल्नुपर्ने हुन्छ
He got a boundary like you mentioned, just the ball before.
खराब बलमा शट हान्नुपर्ने हुन्छ भने राम्रो बलमा
And it certainly
डिफेन्स
is
गरेर खेल्नुपर्ने हुन्छ दिपेन्द्र सिंह ऐरीले यहाँ
just the
खाता
first
खोलेका
2
छन्
overs.
You know,
र
it was
सम्भवतः
very
4 रन
clear
गएको
from
हुनुपर्छ
the
त्यहाँ
off today.
फिल्डरले
Zimbabwe came
प्रयास
in
त
and
गरेका थिए
they
तर चौका
have been stung. They've been stung
नेपाललाई
on
पहिलो
Sunday. There's no
बाउन्ड्रीको
doubt about it. They have come out here today. They mean business. They didn't the number of runs they
रूपमा
wanted
4 रन मिलेको
on
छ
the board. And so
र
now they're trying to
नेपालको
make up for it
खातामा
on the
5
field.
रन
It's been a
दिपेन्द्र
fantastic
सिंह
start, but
ऐरीको उक्त
equally,
चौकासँगै
they have been aided by the batsmen.
I wasn't quite sure as to why it that Chatara didn't play the previous game. He certainly, in my opinion, is their premier fast bowler. He's quick, he's accurate, and he can do this. Is beat batsmen for pace and get wickets